Music Talk talks to Philadelphia-based Katie Henry about her blues rockin' new album, On My Way.
So I'll just have one more, then I'll be out the door. Seems like it's time to pay. Now I'll just be on my way.
Yeah, the record came out, was it, in the end of March. So how has the reception been, and what's it been like putting a record out under these conditions?
Yeah, it was the end of January actually, but the months are flying by. But yeah, it's been really fun. And we recorded it actually a year ago, this May. So it's really cool to revisit the songs kind of a year later, but putting it out in January, we had originally planned on the fall, and then it just made more sense to push it to January. But yeah, under the conditions, it was a little mixed. I mean, in January, especially, that's when it felt like it was coming back full force, and there was a lot of, are these shows going to happen? Luckily, my album release show happened, and it was just, I felt like it ushered in this new time period of where people are seeing live music a lot more. I'm seeing that happening, especially as we're entering the spring and summer. So it's just weird. It just feels like a fever dream right now. It's just like, oh yeah, we were really going through it, but I don't know, the recording of this album and then the way it was released and now playing the songs out, I feel like it's been a nice way to usher it back in by kind of celebrating the release.
Good. So people did the live vibe seem the same as it used to, or has it changed?
It seemed the same. It was unsure if my first overseas trip in Germany with the Blues Caravan was going to happen. It was actually the week before we planned to fly out that it was confirmed to be on. So I was glad that was the case. But yeah, even over there, a lot of the venues are at half capacity. Kind of weird when people are wearing masks, because it's you just want to feel connected to people and not have to feel constricted in any way. But I get everybody wants to feel safe. I think whatever anybody's choice is, but yeah, it's been mixed, but we're trucking along. We're doing it.
Cool. So tell me about the making of the record. So you said you recorded it probably about a year ago or so. So under what conditions did you make the record?
So it was recorded in Brooklyn, New York at DeGraw Sound Studios. And there's been a lot of great music that's come out of there. A lot that does go into Americana territory with Valerie June, who's really, really popular now. And big Norah Jones fan, which again attracted me to working with Ben Rice, the producer. But yeah, the process was really great. I think in terms of dealing with the conditions of the recording, we did a lot of the pre-production over Zoom, just like this, where we would talk out the songs, talk out the vibe. And I think it was really cool because during those sessions, I would play the songs, just me and the guitar. And I thought it was a really cool approach of if the song could stand alone on its own with just your voice and a guitar, then we know we have a strong song. So that was a new way to kind of approach it. And I liked that a lot, because then it just makes adding in everything else in the studio just like a fun layering. So
I mean, there are people who are actually making the records through Zoom and all that, which I find mind-boggling. No, but there you go.
Yeah, I couldn't actually do that though, because I love the live, being in a room with people and making it happen in real time, which I'm glad we were able to do. We were wearing masks and everybody was safe, but it was also just glad to be in a room together. And
so you mentioned Ben Rice. What did he do as producer? What did he add to the mix?
So he was just the leader. I mean, there's so much to get done in I think it was 5 or 6 days that we had. So just in terms of the leading the project and making sure that everything gets done that we want to get done, it's such an important role. And to still have that focus and vision while being open to spontaneous ideas and creativity, I think is just it's a balance that needs to be walked. And he did a really good job at that. And a lot of the songs, for example, Empty Cup, there's a guitar part in there that's very subtle during the verses. And he added that in, and he would just add in things that I didn't know were missing until I heard it.
Gotcha. Well, that's what you need. And tell me about the other guys playing with you on the record.
So Antar Goodwin on bass, who I write my songs with and work very closely with, and Greg Wiz on the drums, and he works a lot with Ben. He plays with Norah Jones as well. Kurt Thumb on keys, who's a New York City keyboard player. He's amazing. And Giles Robson is from the UK, and he played the harmonica on one of the songs. And I got to meet him and sit in with him because he was playing with Bruce Katz. I don't know if you're familiar, but he's a great blues pianist as well. So lots of great people. And I think that's my favorite working conditions, is when I know the people and I trust them. And I think the best things come out of that kind of relationship. So,
yep. So pick a couple of songs just to, almost random. Without a Fight, I think, is one of my favorites on the record. What can you tell me about that?
And that's why I'm standing in the light, and why I try to make it right. I may not win every night, but if I'm going down, it's not without a fight.
well, I think the idea of it just came about in conversation. Andrew and I talk a lot about, just kind of that message of we're giving it our all, and there's a song on the first album, actually, it's called Nothing to Lose, and
right.
it's about just going for it and not really caring about the risks. And I think Without a Fight has a lot of that same meaning behind it. And yeah, the slide guitar is really fun on it, and a lot of the verses are like autobiographical, just recounting of listening to the wrong people, like just all the reasons how you could get caught in a difficult situation, but no matter how difficult it is, you're not going to give up. And I think that a lot of the album in general is about perseverance, and I think that song plugs nicely into that theme.
Right. And one that's more acoustic-y, ballady sounding is Blessings.
Tried so hard to give more than he had, and wanted so much to make it better when things got bad. And when the load became too much to bear, he'd heard a voice whisper in his ear, count your blessings and leave the rest. I just have one request, don't compare yourself to what you think is best. This is no contest, no one else to impress, so count your blessings and leave the rest.
That one, I was thinking about a family member actually, and just I overheard him talking about kind of just feeling down on his life or just hard on himself. And I just thought it like hurt me to hear, because I thought there's so much that he has to be proud of and happy about. And like, and I think we could all relate to that it's hard to look at the things that are going well sometimes, because you could get lost in things that aren't. So I think that song was kind of like me pleading to remind this person, but then it actually turned, I find that with a lot of songs where I'll write it thinking about somebody else, and then it's something I need to hear as well. So kind of just counting your blessings, focusing on the things that you have in the midst of everything else, it's a very centering song for me, and it's really fun to perform live too.
I like the guitar solo. It got a nice little twang to it in there. Yeah.
Thank you.
Is there something different that you're doing on that one than you usually do, or?
Not particularly. A lot of that solo and a couple others just came pretty spontaneously, but yeah, I consider myself like a melodic guitar player. So if I hear a melody and then I'll play it, and that's what happened on there. I think I grew up listening to a lot of The Band, and somebody, I think it was Ben, who said that sounds like Robbie Robertson.
Can't go wrong there.
Yeah.
Nice one.
So thank you though.
Yeah. So this is your second album. Do you feel it's a progression, a change, an evolution from the first one? How do you look at it from one to the other?
Yeah, I think it's progressing in a way where I'm finding my sound more. I think like songs like Blessings and Running Around, like there's a lot of more personal my life stories in these songs, so it was more open in that way. And I think as my journey continues on, I want to put more of that in there. But yeah, I think also it's just a continuation of what I've been doing as well, because it's all based in blues, country, Americana. I mean, I love and grew up with just good classic rock. So I feel like
right.
that's that's always going to be infused into what I do.
Yep. I see you got a video for Got Me Good. Do you take much interest and input into the visual presentation of the songs, or what's going on there?
I've been searching far and wide. I came out the other side, but this restless hold on me just won't quit or let me be.
Yeah, so videos are a whole other facet of being an artist, and they're really fun because they give you a chance to kind of put a story to it. There's a video for that and On My Way.
Yeah.
Both were shot with the same video maker, and Abner James is his name. He's really great. And yeah, we kind of just listened to the song, and I was trying to think of good visuals for it. And I think with On My Way, there was like this story of, I don't know, just breaking through to the other side, and not to sound like the Doors or Jim Morrison, but that's a lot of another big influence on me, but that's another like meaning of that song. So in the video, I kind of am going through this progression of that, I think, and Got Me Good was more just capturing the writing process. And,
Right.
And I think it's cool. I like watching other artists' videos too. It just adds a little personal touch to the song.
Yeah, everybody's making their own videos these days, and it seems like anything goes as far as the quality and the editing, and it could be somebody sitting in front of their computer screen pointing a camera at themselves, and then
that's the thing, because it really does take a team to do it and to do it right. But at the same time, everybody has an iPhone, so there is
it's kind of strange.
And it's same thing with recording too, where you go into a studio and pay full price for what that is. But then you hear stories of people recording albums in their living room, and it's you couldn't tell the difference. So
exactly. Yeah. I've heard
technology really like levels that playing field for sure.
Yeah. So since this record was recorded a while ago, are you already on to the next one? Are you thinking about it?
Yeah, I've been toying around with songs because I just feel like I grow so much in the course of a year. I mean, everybody does, but like, especially when I come up on a year, I'm like, oh, I feel like a different person than I was last year. And now I need songs to reflect that. So it's been stirring in my subconscious, but I haven't actually I haven't gotten to the real work of it yet, but it's definitely stirring up in there. So.
Yeah, and I think everybody feels different than they did a year or two ago.
Yeah, well, especially the circumstances. Yeah.
And then of course, how much of the political and social stuff that's going on around you, how does that affect what you're thinking about when you're writing?
That's a great question, because I definitely do want to incorporate more of my perspective on, because there's so much that's happening in this time period. But at the same time, I always appreciate music that just like keeps you above all of that.
Right.
Like, for example, the Grateful Dead were played, I don't even know how long, but they were always a place that people could go to where they felt connected to other people. And
right. They had a community, that's for sure.
The community, exactly. So I look at that and I'm like, oh yeah. I think I watched a documentary and they were saying like during the 80s, people especially wanted to just feel like they were in a community and use that as an example. And I thought, well, that's great, because I feel like just they made a statement just by making music, and they didn't actually have to put it explicitly in the lyrics.
Yep.
So I really appreciate that, while I also appreciate a Bob Dylan. So I go back and forth on those.
Okay.
On that perspective, but we'll see how they come out.
Very good. And have you ever been down to this part of the world, Australia, New Zealand?
No, but I would love to. I really would.
There's a big blues festival in Australia, the Byron Bay Blues Festival, that you probably fit into nicely.
Heard of that. Is that back this year?
I think so. Yeah. And then everybody comes over here from there because it's not that far away. So
I'll keep it on my radar for 2023.
Yep, that would be good. It'd be nice to get some international acts back, because it's been pretty sparse lately.
Yeah,
they're starting to seep in now, or book. Nobody's actually shown up yet, but they're talking about it. So it's frustrating. All righty. Well, thank you for taking time to talk to me. I love hearing about all this and listening to record. Look forward to the next one already.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me on, Marty.
My pleasure. Thank you. All right.
Take care.
Bye-bye.